All right, so we're back with Garrett. We There were some connection issues and whatnot. So Garrett, um, we got to hear a little bit about how you got started in your spiritual journey and stuff like that a few minutes ago. Garrett, as I said earlier, just your telekinesis is so phenomenal. What exactly do you do to train train telekinesis? Do you do like a meditation or like a qigong exercise to raise your energy so you can move the side wheel, or like like the spoon that you were like moving and stuff like that? Or do you just like can you just naturally do stuff like this? How do you go about doing this stuff?
Um, so a lot of it I was taught through meditation and being able to channel, because when you're channeling, you have to know a lot of these same concepts. Um, the first thing that I was introduced to is what's known as intelligent infinity. Intelligent
Hmm.
infinity, basically the ether coming through your body, and you're sending your own consciousness through your aura field and then being able to simultaneously be in numerous places at once. And so, in the same sense as expanding your conscious, you're able to perceive of a larger area and you spread your own energy throughout that area. And then instead of changing the objects, you're only changing your own energy. And so, from all the different lessons that I've had with intergalactic contact and them touching my chakras, putting a specific sequence to then have myself perform energy work on my own body, then the only difference between an outside object is it's not really outside of yourself. All you're doing is you're expanding your own energy and then you're changing your own energy. Um, so, um, with that, I learned that, of course, so I've talked not very much actually about light weaving. Light weaving is what I was introduced to as being able to quite literally sew images into your soul that can then reflect
Wow.
using light, of course. So I was made known that what you see is your soul, and your soul is all that you see. And so if you want to change what you see, you have to change something from within your soul. Life's a reflection from the inside out, and when you change something from within, it reflects outwards as something different. Well, the one phrase that really started it all was, even before meditation, was change the way you see things, the things you look at change. Change the way you perceive the world you perceive changes. Um, and so that going hand in hand with, then I wasn't necessarily using my energy to do telekinesis at first. It was mainly just learning how I could unlock deeper levels of my DNA without other entities having to help, unlock different cells. DNA, by the way, is known as light chambers. And when you breathe in sun or light, you can then compress it or compact it, or in other words, take a big chunk of it and put it into one small option. And you can do that individually through your cells. And so when you're doing this, what I will do is it's called hollow breath, where it's like you're almost not breathing, but you are. You're letting, it's almost like you're not breathing, you're just letting air flow into your system. And you're watching the air and feeling it slowly come up through your feet, up from the ground, and then it'll go into your lower chakra. And once you can fill up each individual chakra with energy, then you can then compress it all. You can take from the heavens and from the earth, you can pull down and pull up, and you can put it all into your heart, and you can then let your heart pulsate and send those vibrations into your cells. So when you breathe all the way to the top, you'll hold your breath. And then, even though there's a little bit of tightness, then you want to relax through that tense. And then once you're relaxed with all the energy in your body, you can then release it, and the positive energy will then get trapped in your cells, subconscious. The more you do that, you can breathe with intention and you can push that through your chakras into your heart and then into your cells. And from your cells, you can, with the gravity of your own consciousness, you can push that into these light chambers and open up. This is how I've seen into past lives. This is how I've learned a lot of different things with that is when you open these new layers of DNA, upwards comes light and refills that new bit of storage with information based upon what you sent in there. Um, so from there, I learned this is all based on intelligent infinity. Um, then I was learning about how I can speed up that process or do what's called a quantum jump or quantum leap, whatever, switch timelines, change timelines. Um, this is when you create a double polarized shift within your body. And in order to do that, usually, so this goes hand in hand with grounding as well. In our body, we have positive ions, and in the ground, there's negative ions. When you take off your shoes and your socks and you step outside onto the grass, it neutralizes that. And so you're able to then flush out energy and bring upwards energy because you've made that connection. This is what you do inside your cells. And what these entities were showing me is while I'm doing this, I'm in the future and I'm also in my past, and I bring that together and what's called an orb or a captured image with numerous different dimensions inside of this 360 image. You're then able to compress that as well as these two timelines that you're viewing, your past timeline and a future timeline, and you pull them together, creating a connection. Then you also mimic with your body the coldest feeling that you've ever felt. It's like an ice plunge, and then a hot feeling. And you combine those two, and it's like fire and water coming together to create obsidian or a completely different product. So by doing that, I can create and pull the negative ions up from the ground and amplify or basically cram them with my positive ions. I'll force the connection to then send out a double polarized connection. So I can either be pushing, I can pull, I can rotate, I can do whatever I want with that connection because I've already put in the imagery and I've already built that creation, and all I'm doing is sending it out. And then depending on your level of consciousness and how fast you're vibrating, that's how fast it'll be created. And so as you unlock different layers of vibration, you can get to a point where your whole body is pulsating. Sometimes it's kind of scary. It kind of feels like you might blow up. But what you could do is you can just, if you want to test it, you imagine something that you want to happen, even if it's something simple. Breathe it in, compress it, push it into your soul. And then when you release it, you just simply let it go, and then you just watch, you observe, and you wait for whatever you just imagined to happen. And over time, it's like when I was explaining how I was watching my thoughts and what would manifest, and I could cram that and then know this manifested, so now I'm going to do something different with that. um with that, you also do that same thing. You can send that vibration out and you just wait. You wait until it manifests or it reflects outwards, and then you can just keep note on what you've done and know, okay, this worked in this amount of time. So what if I change this aspect and this aspect? Observe and just tweak. So I guess once I learned that I could create that double polarized shift within my energy, that is when I just started basic off with tinfoil. I would set up a piece of tinfoil and I'd put one on a balancing thing. And then
Nice.
I would just basically speak I am affirmation to myself. Words and thoughts create reality, as we went over. And so by intentionally creating the next moment, you can then keep track of what is going on. And then based upon what has manifested, you can tweak over time. Um, So I'll do this thing with my fingers at first. This is me put things into a trance or a hypnotation. And so I'm sending that energy, but then I'm also pulling back at the same time. And I can feel energy leave my body, but then also I can feel a connection on the other end. And I can feel a new connection when it comes back. And so, based upon those feelings and the thoughts that are going in my head when I'm feeling that, because every emotional has a subconscious replay, with thoughts, imagination, all of those different things. Um, so by doing that, eventually it got to a point where, I mean, actually not too long, within a week or two, I was playing with a pinwheel, and then I was playing with just cans on a flat surface.
Wow.
Um, I would just put my own energy inside of the can. I would build an actual telepathic relationship with it, and instead
Mhm.
of manipulating the energy or moving it, whatever all of these things are, you're creating an emotional bond with this object,
Mhm.
just like it's a dog, like it's your animal. Um,
Mhm.
you're creating this personal connection, and then once you can give life to this object, it's then able to reciprocate that same energy. And so
Right.
it gets to a point that over maybe a couple days building this connection, you're then able to, okay, I mean, we're communicating now. If you want to do this, I want to complete this. Let's work through it together. Let's help each other learn. You teach me, I'll teach you. Um, and that's how it is with trees. When you're communicating with nature, it's not a one-sided conversation. Um, there's always cooperation and partnership. Even, of course, with a relationship, it's not a one-sided thing. So, with one tip for anybody that's trying to learn, put your own perspective into the object you're working with. Build that connection, and then almost literally look back at yourself while looking at the object, and simultaneously change those two images to match what you want to see. Um, it's just like if I was to change the atmosphere around me, I would send my energy out into the
Mhm.
atmosphere, and I would view myself from numerous different places around me doing
Mhm.
one. And so now instead of imagining it, I've got one opportunity. Now I've
Mhm.
got 30 opportunities of how this can manifest, and I'm pulling all of these different angles into one, making this manifest just that much faster instead
That's
of
amazing. Garrett, so sorry to interrupt you.
no.
You are sharing so much valuable information. I am blown away, super impressed. I gotta share this video in the Facebook groups because, like I said, when I discovered you, I was just so blown away, so impressed, and the information that you're saying, that you're speaking right now. I've interviewed close to 50 telekinetics, by far the best information anybody's ever shared. Let me just share this. Let me share this video right now in
Before
the Jedi group and the other telekinesis group because this is like yeah, this is the best interview I've done. Can I? How do I? There's no sharing option though on Facebook. I mean, why is
yeah,
that?
any of this works. But yeah, feel free to share it. This information needs to get out. It's just
Absolutely. Oh yeah, here we go. Let me just give me like a minute or so because I mean, like I said, you just in the last 13 minutes just blew my mind away with everything you're telling me. And what's amazing about all this is the fact that you figured this out all on your own through channeling. Like, man, and you're articulating this stuff so well. So because a lot of us are just like, hey, we just meditate, we just build a bond. They just keep it at that. But you articulate this stuff so well. Man, I'm telling you right now, bro, you gotta be a spiritual teacher, dude. Like for
dude,
real. Like,
dude.
like I mean, you are by far, yeah, the best at this. So you
I'm
have
glad.
to get you
I
have to be a spiritual teacher, man. Like I want to learn a lot from you. I've been at like you know, I've been at this for gosh, I don't even know, 3 years now, telekinesis, 4 years maybe. I don't even know. I mean,
oh wow.
you are just man. I can't get enough of your information.
Well, I'm glad.
Yeah,
Most
let
people
me
turn, so I never really put it out there.
yeah let me just share this in the Jedi group so people can see it real quick.
Of course.
Yeah, okay. And do you mind if I tag you in the group too, so people
Go.
know who it is?
Yeah, go for it.
Just give me one sec. and one more group, the telekinetic. I don't think you're part of the telekinetic minds group. That's where I'm an admin at.
Mm,
I think you're part of Unlimited, Pan's group, and Anthony's group, in the
yeah, I'm
Jedi.
part of Jedi and Unlimited. Yeah, that's one I was recently to.
Nice, nice. Sorry. Oh, yeah, more people need to see this for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely useful information for those who are willing to listen. In the past, people just turn it away as me being crazy or I'm out of my mind.
Oh yeah, I get that a lot too. I'm just like praying, like my coworker doesn't Google my name or something. But yeah, I just shared it, so hopefully more people will be watching this. Um, Garrett, so man, you just shared so much valuable information the last 13 minutes when you were just telling me all this stuff. Do you see yourself being a spiritual teacher? Because I mean, I'm telling you, you can be a freaking phenom, dude, if you did.
Yeah, so I work with shamans. We're
Mhm.
working on building a retreat. Um, Eventually, I do want to set up a type of environment similar to the Avatar Energy Mastery Institute.
Oh, you were part of EMI. I was
I
too.
was not a part of it, but I want to create something similar to that. Um,
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, I
so
was very involved with the AMI. With Michael. Yeah,
yeah, I learned. Have you met him in person?
Michael. No.
Oh, I was gonna say that'd be cool. Um, yeah, I've watched a few of his videos. Some people went on my TikTok and they're like, "Have you heard of Michael Grubb?" And I was like, "Nah, I haven't." It took me a couple
Oh
weeks.
no, not Grub.
Oh,
Michael Monk.
oh, yeah, I've heard. Yeah, both of them.
Oh, both.
Those
Okay, okay. Yeah.
those names jumble up in my mind. But yeah,
Mhm.
it took a little while to find them. But once I did, I learned very fast because it was basically all knowledge that I already knew. I just hadn't had the visual perception of seeing someone actually perform it. So it did that belief system that it was actually possible. And
Mhm.
then the dots started to connect. But um yeah, I don't know, any other questions you would like to ask?
Oh, there's like tons, but um, man, yeah. So, what is the heaviest object you've ever been able to move?
I would probably have to say the inside of a controlled environment, the spoon, but
Mhm.
outside I have moved. I've done a tire twice. I've played around with my doors. Um, the tire probably, but that wasn't just pure telekinesis. That was
Aerokinesis.
aerokinesis and
Mhm.
telekinesis. Um, um, I have created some very crazy things in the sky. I've pulled. There was one time I was with the shamans and I created a layer of clouds on the floor, and then I also created a layer in the sky. And just like I was telling you, it was that night that I learned that actually, where I was pulling down from the heavens and from the lower world, which would be my root chakra in the ground, and I was able to create a helix or a double polarized shift from both ends, and then they met up in the middle. After I came back into my body, I was learning light weaving. I was above the planet. I was inside of my body and also in the core of the planet. I was simultaneously operating through the three of them, the three parts of my body and my spirit. Whatever people, I don't like labels, but that's when I learned light weaving because I was sending things into the core of the planet from my own belief system. I would feel them come back up, and then I would look at them from a higher perspective, observe them, send them into my body, back into the ground, let them come back up. I'd breathe them in through, and then I was doing this crazy process, but I came out of this long meditation and I looked at the fireplace that we were all sitting around, and I just looked at my hand and the fire, and I just closed my fist, and it went from a bonfire to ashes basically, and it instantly burned through all of the wood. And then I looked up to the left, and in the sky from those clouds on the ground and at the top, there was two helixes coming together at one point. And just how life is a reflection from the inside out, I created this within myself, sent it into the core of the planet and above, and then being able to actually see, it was like two tornadoes coming together, just like an hourglass in the sky.
That's
Um,
amazing.
so I've had a lot of experiences like that, but um, I don't know. I can create a lot of experiences. I would say that's the whole reason I want to do energy work in the first place is firstly I was taught how to heal my ACL or my knee. I had torn my ACL 6 times.
Okay.
Um, it's not in the right spot anymore. It got split in half. There's a muscle underneath the kneecap that holds my upper part of my leg and my lower half of my leg together. After the sixth time I had torn my ACL, it was no longer 50% there. And so, not being able to walk without me tearing every muscle in my leg from just the weight of my leg, I would sit in my couch and I would learn energy work. And over 2 or 3 months, I had learned how to heal my knee. I was told that I would never walk again. I was very big into flips. I was actually part of the top 50 in the United States for trampoline flips at one point.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was told I was never going to be able to do that again, never be able to walk. I can walk, I can run, I can do flips again, all from energy work and learning chakra work and sending the intense vibrations into my knee. So then that came with telekinesis later on, but with that, of course, my whole goal is healing. If I can move a heavy object, well, then I can also move a cell or negative energy within the body that might not even have any weight. And so, if I can create a connection with not an outside object, I can create a connection with somebody else's body outside of myself. And I would be able to potentially heal cancer, um, do whatever I want with energy. Um, that was my main goal with it. And then, of course, the force. The force isn't anything like people really perceive it. More of having something in your imagination and forcing it into existence. Um, through nature, though. But yeah, the heaviest objects I've moved are the tire, really. But
Tired, yeah. That's so funny. When I interviewed Peter Mendoza, he said the same thing. The heaviest thing he moved was tire and stuff. So that's really ironic.
yeah,
Yeah, that's really interesting. Garrett, what is your ultimate goal in this spiritual journey? Like, do you want to like transform the world? Do you want to just like, you mentioned healing. Do you want to be able to like, heal people and stuff like that? Do you want to like, just ascend and become an immortal? Like, do you have any goals?
so that's also partly the reason I named my TikTok channel Matrix Recoded, because even though we are going through an ascension right now, there will still be a matrix or a quote unquote set of rules or universal laws that we have to abide by. And by knowing those, you can then recode your own energy or your own infrastructure to then create something. And so instead of course, decoding the matrix, we will always be in a matrix. It will just evolve as we evolve. And so if we know the general universal laws, and by following those, we can recode or recreate our own existence according to that. So we're not going outside of those. I don't like the word law, but they kind of are. Um, it's a lot of the reasons why people get trapped in soul contracts. People don't know how to get out of them because their karma stacks up so fast and so far that people just get swamped in it. And if you know the universal laws, you can abide by these very basic things. And then, aside from all of that, you're living in harmony. You can create anything you want. But it just comes down to the intention. So, eventually, I do want to change the world, be the light you wish to see in the world, of course. But one thing that I live by is um, I thought of this one day after I was given a sort of light in my dream. It was actually a nightmare that I had finally gotten past. I'd had this nightmare ever since I was a little kid, and I was never able to get past this one spot until last year or 2 years ago. And after I finally passed this repetitive nightmare, I was running through this darkness. I was on like these dark green lily pads in literally darkness of space, and I'm running from all of these demonic entities that have always been trapping me inside this one swampy room in just a dark area I've never seen outside, but where I would be in this dream, I would always see these entities looking in through the window, and they would look through the side of their face. They would never look directly at me. Um, Anyways, I finally broke past that, and I was running on these lily pads that would appear in the darkness, and I came up to a stone, and just like, I don't know, King Arthur or something like that, pulled the sword out of the stone. I pulled the sword out of the stone, and it instantly lit up in this bright white blue light, and I turned around and everything was clear. There was no more demonic entities. Everything was just peaceful, and I was able to walk back and do whatever I wanted in my dreams. Um, and so, because of that, by his sword, which is the word, he will bring down a false world. Um, so, by the sword, which is the word of truth, will bring down a false world. And with new beginnings, things have to come to an end. Um, the shamans, they call me Loki, um, the god of mischief, which, of course, in the end, there's got to be destruction to create a new beginning. I actually like reorder a lot more. Things do have to fall apart, but with structural reorder. So things are falling apart for a greater purpose than to, I don't know, point blank. So I really do want to just offer a new perspective for people and help not only create my own dream life and do the impossible, whatever, and keep doing that, but I want to be able to show people like, if I can do this, so can everybody else. These are what I did personally to achieve all of these things. Now, what if you can recreate that in your own way to then, it's like a trickle effect or the domino effect. Um, we are moving through an ascension right now, and there are a lot of events that are happening behind the scenes that a lot of people are completely unaware. And for channelers, especially like me, who do know these things, we're told about them, we see them in visions, we whatever happens to make it so that it's known to us, someone's got to be able to offer that disclosure, or and essentially some people do have to be at the forefront. So I don't know. I don't really have a specific goal, but I do just want to know that I'm traveling in the right direction. Want to be bringing people along with me, and so that is that.
That is amazing.
From the darkness into the light.
That's awesome. Garrett, um, you know, you obviously are able to move a spoon under a glass container right now. Do you where, do you possibly think, like, and you said that you've only been at this for like 7 years and stuff like that. Do
Well,
you
so,
think
yeah,
do you think you can get, I mean, and I think you pretty much, broke a record already at this point. How far, like, say in the next 6 months, do you think you can evolve your telekinesis? Do you think you'll be like you know get into the point where maybe you can move like even heavier things and stuff like that? Like, do you
I,
have an idea possibly?
I would hope so. My ultimate goal with all of this is to be able to levitate myself.
Hmm.
Um, and so with levitation, I know that you have to be able to spin every single one of your cells consciously. And so,
Wow,
in
I
the
didn't
same
know that.
sense of spinning even a spoon, you're spinning a heavy object slowly but surely. But in order to levitate, you would have to do that individually to every single one of your cells. So,
Mhm.
in the same way of bilocation and being able to spread your consciousness out throughout an entire area and be in numerous different places at once, or in other incidences that I've talked about, you're then able to slowly but surely wake up in those areas and become a fully conscious being, or this quote unquote intelligent infinity. This infinite intelligence becomes aware that it is intelligent, and it's able to create as an individual being working within a collective area towards one goal. And so you're then sending this quote unquote intelligent infinity into every single one of your cells individually over time, putting more and more conscious awareness into those cells so that they can then work towards one intention. And at that point, you will then be able to synchronize your entire being towards one image or numerous images that correlate into then being able to levitate.
Wow.
And so being
Yeah.
able to spin objects, that's kind of the first learning how to do that just for even
Yeah.
once.
When do you see yourself teaching, Garrett? I mean, because you're so articulate, so intelligent. I mean, it's just, I mean, when do you think you'll start teaching this stuff? Because I mean, I really think that, like I said earlier, you're going to be a phenomenal teacher at this. You're sharing information that I've never heard before. You've created terms that I've never heard before and stuff like that. Even maybe someone else mention something similar to what you're describing. Do you have an idea when you can start teaching and stuff like that? Because if you start teaching, I'm definitely taking notes and paying attention for sure, and I'll be definitely rewatching this interview with you today.
Cool.
Do you have an idea time frame of when are you going to start teaching?
I want to start as soon as possible, as it's really just been coming down to divine timing. Like, as of now, before this, I've had one podcast done. It's on a UFO page or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But it's really just been when people reach out to me, I'll reach back. But now that, I mean, obviously people are starting to become interested in this stuff. So I've really just been waiting for that time to occur. Because as of 3 years ago, when I would speak of these things, people wouldn't talk to me anymore.
Right.
It was to the point where I could go to a lake with 200 people. I could go meditate, and when I spread my consciousness and my vibration throughout the entire lake area, I'll open my eyes and every single person's gone. Things
Wow.
like that.
That's
And so,
insane.
yeah, and so you really can only perceive what you're the vibration of, which shows a lot just in general. But now that people are starting to open up to these things, I mean, I went from being a Satan worshiper to now just being called. Um, and so as people are slowly accepting deeper truths and branching away, starting to become more free minded, that's really what I've been waiting for. So now it just is really, I mean, I need a better phone. I don't have a lot of storage on this, so I make videos like this. Like, even for this one, I wouldn't be able to actually download this video because my phone wouldn't have enough storage.
Oh, I can send you the video to your email if you want, if you
Oh,
like.
well, that's not necessarily the problem, but I won't be able to record videos and have the storage for it.
Oh, I see. You don't have a computer or anything like that. So
Yeah, and so
gotcha.
um yeah, but things will happen. As of now, I've been trying to put more videos on TikTok. I've got a couple,
Uh-huh.
3 videos on awareness, and I've got one basic, very basic video on energy work.
Mm-hmm.
Um
I mean, you have quite a bit of followers. I mean, don't you have like 10K followers right now?
um yeah, it's like 35K something.
35,000? Wow,
Like that. It's getting there.
that's amazing. I mean, keep at it, man. I mean, I mean, there's another guy, DWG of Earth. He has like close to 500,000, I think, or maybe more at
Yeah.
this point, or something close to that. I mean, you're gonna be there soon. So I mean, I want to see you blow up and just blow people away. So
Oh,
yeah.
me too. The only problem I have with TikTok is I did one live stream where I was talking about energy work and these things that we're talking about in this conversation. I was talking about on a live. That was how I got the information out. And I
Uh-huh.
started talking about COVID and natural solutions to heal
Oh
COVID.
yeah, they don't like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got for a tiny bit, I got suspended or whatever.
Oh,
After that,
damn
I
TikTok.
like blowing up to basically almost not even being seen. So once they start sharing my videos a little bit more, because I don't want to put all this information out and then go look back to those videos like say 6 months later and realize they only have 2,000 views and I need to repost. So I'm just kind of, it really is just like a divine timing thing. When
Mm,
everything aligns, it will just happen.
that's awesome. That is so cool. Garrett, um, there's a lot of, I mean, when you shared your spoon video, there's a lot of people that were saying like, oh, it can teach me what, your secrets and stuff like that. Um, do you, um, what would be like a very simple advice you can give to a newbie that's embarking on this journey right now? Like like a, what would you say it's just simple meditation?
So, yeah, honestly, everything is a meditation to me. Even here, I'm consciously breathing. I'm breathing my body and I'm feeling the different energy levels. So when I'm talking, I'm seeing how it's resonating with my innate, which
Mhm.
is my DNA and cell structure. And so to anybody that's say hasn't even meditated before, I do have I have 3 videos on awareness and stillness, reaching stillness within the mind on my TikTok. That's the key, is because even before I could channel, I had to get to a point where there was absolutely no thoughts and no emotions. It's what Alan Watts would call fasting the heart. Because when you fast the heart and you don't have emotions, you're just at your natural state of being. There's no thoughts that are correlating with emotions. And so you have your mind and a clear heart that's opened now to everything. And so when you go into these states of being, firstly, I mean, I started with a candle flame, and I still do it. I will just hold a candle flame, and I mean, you once you get a little bit better at it, you want to take the concept of the candle flame into being source energy, your own energy, whatever these things that you want to put your awareness on, a single point, anything. Um, but anyways, you'll look at the candle flame, and as you're looking at the candle flame, you'll notice that your thoughts will start to go through, and every single time that you think or feel or imagine any of these things, your eyes will wander away from the candle flame. And so, the same thing when you're meditating within your own being, a lot of people's mind will wander and they don't notice it because their eyes are shut, but their eyes are also wandering behind, looking at different neural pathway systems and recreating that electrical charge to then provide feelings and emotions, all because your eyes are wandering and they're gliding over all of these areas. And so, chain reaction of all these feelings and emotions. Now, when you can hold that in one place, say the candle flame, you can put all of your attention and awareness on it. And if you're not listening to binaural beats or anything like that, in between thoughts, there will be a very slight moment of peace or a pause. And in between every thought, of course, you're going to think again and they're going to keep cycling through. But every single time you have a thought, all you do is refocus on the candle flame and you focus innerly on that pause. And over time, that pause will start to very incrementally widen and get bigger. And then this pause will turn into a moment of peace. And then that peace will become a spaciousness or an inner sanctuary where you can then go into this stillness and create an environment because you have then filtered out all of these thoughts, feelings, emotions, imaginations, all of these things clouding your mind. You've then filtered them out, and instead of replacing them, all you're doing is you're expanding a silence that has already been there. You're not getting rid of anything, you're just expanding this, and it's like when weeds take over a garden, but a positive version of it. And so now this expansive piece or space within yourself becomes so great that no matter where you put your focus, it's there. And then you can just subconsciously sit into a piece, and in that spaciousness you can then create these images, and consciously you can just raise your vibration by shifting or gliding tension around. You're not putting it on different areas, you're just having this one expansive area of peace within your body. And you're able to go to different areas of this peace and fill in the dots or fill in numerous different imaginations into one quote unquote orb or a bubble almost that is capturing this image or numerous of them. So when you can think of something that you're wanting to create in the future, you go back to this main image, but you also have numerous other images or playing images tied to this one thing. But the only reason it's able to be there is because you were able to create that space of peace within yourself. So with anything, like even when people do subconsciously or unconsciously manifest things, it's because they're putting a lot of thought into one thing. They're imagining lots of different outcomes, and they have one main image of what that quote unquote might look like. And based upon what might look like, they have all of these other different possible scenarios with numerous different emotion levels or vibrations sent. And so when that time comes and the outside world, the vibration of that matches that particular inside vibration, they come together to create a happening. Um, and so with that, let's see. I guess I can explain the basis of everything, and that is the algorithm of how everything works. Oh, my mother just got home. But anyways, so everything's working in an operation of zeros and ones. 0, there is no emotion applied, and 1, there is emotion. And 0, do not create this. 0, this should be created. And so you are going through your mind and you're giving emotional responses, energy and motion. You're giving that life to this imagination, this thought, this feeling, whatever it is. You're giving that a 1 by giving it energy, that energy and motion to be driven into creation. When you simply ignore it and you focus on that silence, you give it a 0. Now, whatever that is that you just thought of or went through in your mind, you did not give it any attention, and most people know that where attention goes, energy flows. You don't have any attention on this thing. You've already bypassed it as basically the same moment that it happened. So now you're moving on to something different every single time something negative comes along. So of course, when you're trying to create something, you want to hold one image in your mind and you feed it as many emotions as you can. And you feel through a lot of different experiences. And the more experiences you have felt already happen and you've already seen how it takes place, then you can embed these emotions into your body that will then be driven into creation. So it goes back to that thing when you're placing your energy outside of your body, you don't want to do anything immediately. You just want to set it out there and watch. It's like you put your energy out there and you wait for something to happen. And then over time, you can tweak it.
Awesome. That is so amazing. Garrett, I just want to say, I mean, I'm complimenting you so much today because I mean, because I'm just so blown away by your information and, what you can obviously do. But like, man,
Thank
you, you mentioned the Avatar Energy Master Institute. I was, one of the main students of that school, and
Oh,
once it collapsed, once it disappeared, I was longing for an organization like that to come back. And when you, as soon as you mentioned AMI, it just, oh man, like it just, man, it almost got me emotional. Like, man, like I really sincerely feel in my heart that maybe you are the second coming of the AMI and of Michael's work, and I really sincerely hope, and I have no doubt you're going to just be a phenomenal teacher and stuff, but like, I really sincerely, um, think you're just going to be a phenomenal teacher and you're just going to blow people away and stuff. I mean, you really remind me so much of Michael in so many ways of just how articulate you are and how well you can, speak about energy and stuff.
thank
It's
you so
just,
much.
you're just so amazing. Yeah, I just, yeah, I mean, I just couldn't get enough of your information and stuff like that. But looks like we're at the 45-minute mark, and honestly, my phone's about to die at two. Let me see how much. 5%. Okay. Um, yeah, my phone
Well,
phone is about to die as well. Um,
that's okay.
Garrett, I'm sorry.
I said that is perfectly okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for doing this interview
Yeah,
for me,
thank
Garrett. You
you.
know, I'm just yeah, like I said, I can't get enough of your information and stuff like that. And
Well, I'm glad you're doing this because without you here, information wouldn't be out there.
yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I feel like it's my mission to, you know, interview phenomenal people like you and just introduce guys like you to the world and stuff like that. I feel like that is my job. And yeah, so I'm just so fortunate that I got to that you joined the Jedi group and that you started doing sharing your demonstrations and stuff like that. Any final thoughts, Garrett, that you want to share with people? Anything on your mind right now?
Um, First off, thank you for having me. It was a pleasure being here. Glad I got to talk to you, of course, spread some information. Um, a lot of it, some of it might be kind of jumbled. I kind of just threw it all together as we went. But any last thoughts? You are the creators of your own reality. Real it and why. What is it and why? And it will become real to you. Everything is BS. It's all belief systems. Whatever you believe to be true will become true and will become real and your reality. Life's a reflection from the inside out, and everything going on is just a reflection of your internal state of being. Everybody you hang out with, the five closest people, those are a reflection of the different aspects of your own personality. Personality correlating with personal reality. Everything will resonate with different aspects of different people, and aspects you resonate with are just a hidden part of yourself coming to the literal forefront. Um, and with that being said, you are the creator of your mind, and by changing the way you perceive your own mind, you will perceive of different levels of your own being outside. Um, as you raise your awareness, people will fall away, new people will come, experiences will change and reshape to different energy signatures, which is your dominant vibration. Um, Thoughts create reality. Be careful what you think. Um, be nice to yourself. Stay positive and optimistic. We're here for a long ride, so better sit back and enjoy it.
Excuse me. That was so awesome. Thank you for these wise words and information. I just, like I said, it had so much. I'm gonna definitely rewatch this tonight as soon as we
Hello.